Destiny 2 Witch Queen expansion has been out for about a month now, and thanks to the likes of Paul Tassi, Destin Laguerre, and SkillUp, plus Bungie's ability to market this game with badass trailers, has made me decide to come back to this game. And that's right, come back to this game. I was a big Destiny fanboy back in the day, especially on the D1 days, and I stopped playing after the Forsaken expansion. In part because they killed my boy Kate 6, in part because Bungie got the idea to content vault the older stuff. And that's wherein lies the problems with Witch Queen, but I'll get to that. Let's start off with the good with Witch Queen. Witch Queen's campaign is absolutely fantastic. The story is great. The cutscenes are great. The mission structure is great. Everything about the campaign for Witch Queen blew my mind. That's how good it got, especially for Destiny standards. It was really, really good. Probably the best campaign, or one of the best campaigns that Bungie has ever done for the Destiny game. The content, the extra stuff that they brought in, things like the glaives. The glaive weapon is probably one of the coolest things that they brought in. I love the glaive weapon. The glaive weapon is so much fun to use. The new Void structure with Void 3.0, being able to customize your super, your grenade, your melee, etc. and basically form any form of combination you want and actually make builds, your own custom builds. Throw in the game's lovely weapon crafting system where you can craft weapons. That system is a great addition to the game as well. The only caveat to that is that, yes, it's a grindy system. It absolutely is. But then again, at this point, Destiny has always been a grindy game. It's a loot-based game. So if you don't like grindy games, well, you shouldn't be playing it to begin with. But as a returning player, as someone who played the game religiously up until Forsaken, who walked away, should you come back to Destiny 2? Yes, you should. The game is in the best state it's ever been. The only unfortunate caveat to the Witch Queen expansion is that they didn't really touch PvP. But let's be real here. You don't play Destiny for PvP. There's so many other better PvP games there that Destiny is just an afterthought. It's a nice addition to the game while you're playing it, but I would never take it seriously at any point. The bread and butter of Destiny has always been its campaign and its endgame content. Whether it's the raid, which this raid is fantastic, whether it's the new PsyOps, everything about it, even the season structure, the season pass has gotten better over time. But that said, there was the big caveat that I mentioned at the beginning of this video, and that is content vaulting. Content vaulting has been a big issue, but it's not an issue with Destiny or Witch Queen itself. It's an issue with Bungie's managing model, the way they manage the game. Now, I understand why they do it. They want to keep the file sizes down. They want to make it easier to maintain the game as a whole. I get it. But here's where the inherent problem is with the game in its current state. As someone who played the game up until Forsaken and then stopped, for me to jump into the Witch Queen, I had to go to external sources to fill in the story gaps. For existing players of Destiny 2, so long as you're up to date with the content, it gets better and better and better. And I can see why the game has 50 to 100,000 concurrent players at any given moment on Steam. Why many people on my PlayStation's friend list, the Xbox list, people are playing this game. The idea that this game is dead is just stupid. It is a very popular game. And for existing players, it is great. SkillUp touched on this on a previous video of his. But for returning players, and more so new players, you have to go to external sources to fill in the gap. To my looking around throughout the game, there's nothing in-game that fills in the story gap up to the recent expansion. So for me, before I started playing Witch Queen, I looked online, go on Reddit, look up some videos to get caught up on the story holes that I missed from Forsaken to Witch Queen. And once I got caught up and started playing the Witch Queen campaign, it was fantastic. But now imagine a new player that hasn't even played the game going all the way back from launch. This is why content vaulting is a big problem. Not only are you taking things away from people that have already paid for said content, but also you're impacting the game's ability to tell a coherent story. I don't know why Bungie just doesn't allow the community to decide how much hard drive space they're willing to commit to Destiny. If they're willing to put more time into Destiny, if they're willing to allow it to occupy more hard drive space, let them. Let us keep our older campaigns. Let us have that ability to go back and play through a campaign so that we can fill up the story and get caught up. Because for new players or returning players, there's extra work that needs to be done to get caught up to truly appreciate what's going on in Witch Queen. It is amazing how good this game has become while simultaneously hindering itself by poor decisions. And this is probably the poorest decision. Nothing felt good to me when Destiny 2 initially came out and I lost weapons like the Gallowhorn and the Hawk Moon and then the Thorn, etc. And then throughout Destiny's 2 life cycle, we have, guess what? 30th anniversary. You can buy the 30th anniversary pack and get the Gallowhorn again. But I already had that weapon. Xur's selling the Hawk Moon. I already had that weapon. So it's a real kick in the nuts to have these things that I had before, that I grinded before. Destin Liguri said on Twitter, it took him, I think, something like 56 tries to get a Mythal Cast out of Vault of Glass. Well, guess what? I did that on Destiny 1. I would hate to come back to Destiny 2 and do it all over again to get the gun I already had. These are the issues with Destiny, and it has nothing to do with the content itself or the quality of the expansion, but rather Bungie's inability to manage it better. Plain and simple. Right? Witch Queen is a fantastic expansion on its own right. It was a lot of fun. The glaive weapon is good. The story is good. The mission structure is good. The puzzles are good. It's just sad that as a returning player, it exposed the biggest critical flaw that I had with the game previously. And it exposes why it has a hard time attracting new players. Because there's no way currently in-game to get caught up into the story. Perhaps they can add a prologue of some kind or some sort of cutscene that allows them to go over it something. They can do that, but they have to do something to fill in that gap. Otherwise, players will just be like, nah, I'm not going to go through external sources just to get caught up on a story when it should be in the game. Lots of people won't do that. But if you are caught up, Witch Queen is a great expansion. I'm having a lot of fun, more fun than I thought I was going to have, and I'm more addicted to it than I've ever been. That being said, it's not without its problems. So should you come back to Witch Queen? Yes. Yes, you should. You should come back to Destiny 2. You should play the Witch Queen. Just be forewarned that you need to do external research in order to get caught up to the story. And how much you have to do is going to depend on how far back you were when you left. This is Veteran Gamer, and I hope to see you guys next time.